Hey everybody, so this is your exploring fractions and decimal page on page 5 and 6. We're going to try and fit them both in this video. So first thing you need to know, this is one rod. The entire grid here is the flat, okay? The question says, how many rods are needed to cover the whole flat? How many of these cover the entire grid? Kids, I'll let you go ahead and pause your video. Go ahead and do that. And we will unpause with the answer. And when we unpause, we see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rods that cover the whole flat. So here in your text box, if you're doing this on Google Classroom, you're going to click inside that text box and write the number 10. Or you should have already, excuse me. So there should be 10 rods shaded in below. Here, the question says, if a flat represents one whole, then what fraction is shown below? So if this is one whole, what is this shaded below as a fraction? We know that this is 1/10. So as a fraction, you would write 1/10. Could also be written vertically. Those are the same thing. As a decimal, because we know this is less than one whole, we're going to write a 0 and then a point. This decimal point separates all of our whole numbers from our parts. So here, this is the 0 in the ones place. In the tenths place, we're going to have a 1. So 1/10 and 1/10 are written differently as fractions and decimals, but share these same values. See, this is 1/10 out of one whole. That's page 5. On to page 6, we see if one rod represents 1/10 or 0.1 of a whole flat, then what decimal is shown below? So we have to count what we see. We see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns shaded in. So if this is 0.1, we see that 1, 2, 3, 4 takes up 40% of the grid. So that is written as such. 4/10, just like there are 4/10 all the way shaded in. Notice that this is still grid style, but over here they do not intersect and go horizontally. You have tenths. I like how that's made. Here we see, how do you name this value using a fraction? You should know that if this is pronounced 4/10, then kids by now also know that this is 4/10 is a fraction. Decimal form, excuse me. We see because this is 4/10 as a decimal, this is 4/10 as a fraction. Moving on, down here. What fraction of the whole flat is one small bit? So they say bit, I oftentimes say unit or small cube. You understand that this is the value we're speaking about now. This is 1 out of 100, as the students know. So if that is the case, it is written as such, 1 out of 100. As a decimal, of course, you know it's less than 1. Then you put a decimal point. But after that, we know we have the tenths place. So we put a 0. And then, because after the tenths place, you have the hundredths place, you put a 1. And now this direction says, shade in the grid below to show a value of 400ths. So if this is 100th, 0.01, 0.04 is going to be written as 400ths. So I'm going to shade in, let's see, if I already have 1, I'm going to shade in 1, 2, and 3 more hundredths to create 400ths. And that is all the directions say to do. Thank you very much, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions.